So where are we holding? Friends, where are we up to the middle of the middle? No, we finished the whole paragraph. Yeah, the 5 inyanim. Sherish Hashem is good from the Vusha Mecholis. It ought to explain the relativity of Makif. It's all to explain that in Eirin Sof, rather qualify that. In Sevu Kalam, this is Chalkus. It's the whole point of the Maimer, which he explains already. And he drew at the end, what was the moshel he brought Benefesh Adam to explain it? And the difference between Ischalkus in Sev, the way it is in the Malib. That's the whole point that we've been learning the last few days. So in a word, what's the difference? We give him moshel. Adarab in Sev, if this fit is in Ketz. More than Mamala Kalamin. Just a defined number of spheres, etc.
Marshall gave us an Achman Ratzin of the person.
Okay, so what explain the marshal? Good. And this will all explain that even though both Paraduma and Pesach Achukim, it's still shaykh to ask which is greater than the other. Even though they're both in Ratzin, or Elyon, Sevu Kalalmin, where Be'emes there's no Ischalkus. But there is. So what's the explanation? That was the whole thing we were learning. This is the whole point of the last few shiurim. Well, last two. Say it first in Hebrew, just Lashon HaKodesh, forget the Asbara, just what's the difference? The catchwords. Huh? Anybody on the Zoom? It is the words of the Maimer. There's no Asbara, just find the words that define this is Chalkus and that is Chalkus. Middle of the ice. Middle, it's on Kuf Mem Vav, the same page numbers as me? Yes? No.
196.
Okay. No, you're at the top of the page. No, I think it's different layout. Show me the Maimer. It's a different layout altogether. No, it's the same layout. Okay. So the page begins Levushim. He says, there's two lines in the center of the paragraph that encapsulate the difference that we're talking about. No, it's right in the center of that paragraph on that page that begins Levushim. She's Chalkas he. No? Read the words. בעצם המדרגס, מדרגוסם, שווה שזה מהוס אחר. מה שאין כן, same line, אף, still, מכל מוקר, it's what? Okay, so you have the Hebrew words in that.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
No, first, I was hoping you just find those words first. Let's just get the words that the Bible said, what's Latin there? And we explained what it means too. The Bible continues to, but the moshel at the end of the ois makes it very clear. The parallel, benefesh Adam. Rotzen versus Chachma. No, look at it and tell me.
These back together, Moshe, but Chachma is.
The Maimar says
When
if you first
thinking-
spend a minute reading the Maimar,
Yeah,
it's pretty
the
spelled
Chachma
out.
of your thinking is not like the Chachma of action when it comes down to something practical.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Me neither. I'm saying the ISIS. I'm trying to figure out what the.
He's not talking about practical versus Chachma. He's talking about Chachma. Not practical versus Chachma. Not Maisa versus Chachma. He's talking about Chachma itself.
Chachma Ionis, like when
Oh,
you think
no.
of Chachma Maisa, when it comes down into something tangible.
So what's the difference? What's the point he's saying?
Because when you're thinking Chachma, there's a lot of possibilities.
Not when you're thinking. It is much clearer when it's not about one person, but two people. It doesn't give a marshal of one person. It talks objectively about Chachma Yunis and Chachma Samaisa. Which brings out the point. Not everybody is shaykh to Chachma Yunis. Just not their world and no clue, just don't belong there, no idea what's going on. The practical, the Chachma that is brought down in. So this is how we build the rocket ship. So that they can do.
Remember, you said not everyone knows what E equals MC squared, but people could use the formula and do the thing.
The application of it, this is how it's applied, is shaykh to everybody, relatively speaking. The people employed in building the computer, the rocket ship, the atom bomb, down on the practical level, they're following instructions. It's a seichel. It's a whole seichel that they went to school for in order to be able to be engineers. But they conceive of the idea.
So that's what Masamai said. Doing with
They conceive of the idea. No shaykh is klal klal. That's just chalkas be'etzim. You don't belong there. You no connection. Touch your world. Can't relate to it. But the God nishmedir in Gans. And what about Rotzen? What's the marshal of Rotzen? That's a marshal for what? Chachma is a marshal for what? It's not just a marshal, really. It is the thing. For what? A malakalam, where one level is another level. There's hardcore, higher, and lower, left, right, center, and they are clearly defined, and they're not compatible in their own worlds, overtly, at least. Chesed and Gevurah. But who were we invoking the whole time as we were talking about this? Yeah, who? Some famous people. Shammai and Hillel. They argue. They don't agree. They dispute. That's Yitzchalkos, be'etzem. Even though they get along, they're fine friends, be skalalus. They complement each other. Atzilus is achtus. But chesed is chesed, Gevurah is Gevurah. Shammai is chesed atzilus. I mean, Gevurah atzilus. Hillel is chesed atzilus. So that's Ischalkos in the actual mahus, in the substance is the substance we speak of is divided, higher, lower, left, right, etc. That's clear. Now, okay, that's clear. Here, to understand is Ischalkos, but it's B'chinas Ein Sof. So he gives a beautiful moshel. It's not just a moshel stam; it's a moshel that devolves from. We work this way because we're a reflection of the Maila. So what's the moshel? He said the word. So look in the Maimar, he pretty much spells it out for us. We don't have to think too hard. Into the ice.
But the same Ratzin when he's doing the thing, the same Ratzin when he wants it in Seichel.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but the Miguel student is a little bit like just doesn't get this exactly. Is it really? What do you mean? Same Ratzin doing the thing is the same Ratzin in Seichel. The answer is yeah. I mean, you're right, but let's just kind of spell it out a bit. We repeat here endlessly. What is the purest Ratzin in Nefesh Adam? the highest level of rotzen. What is it? Nefesh Abam, say, same thing applied to Nefesh Elikis, but what is rotzen that it's in its pure, non-filtered state? What is it? Was willst du? What do you want? What's the?
Be alive.
You want to be alive and not and one more thing. You don't be alive in a prison. You'd rather die than be in a prison, says the Chinuch. Which I learned in the previous Maimer.
Pleasure and avoid pain. And express the message.
You want to express yourself. You want to be free. You want to be free means give expression to every fiber of your being. At least the main things. People die for this. Freedom or death. Well, they're not fools. They're not even martyrs, really. If you take away my freedom, you've taken away my life, my rods. It's not worth living. Unless you can be eternally free, like a Mendel in the Gulag is eternally free. No one can take that away. That's why Nefesh Elikis freedom. It doesn't need anything. He tells a story of man. Like I gave you all the book, and most of you have it. If you read it, beautiful book.
Small.
Yeah. So there's actually a picture, a photograph of the talus he had in the Gulag. He was able to make it's a blanket really, but he's able to turn into a talus. It was a talus he'd be, and that's why he was arrested, because he davens in the talus. So he says that it was a blanket. So how are you going to use it in the summer? It's terribly hot. He said he wrapped himself in it anyway, because a lot of people gave up on life. They just died and wrapped themselves up in the blanket and in depression. And eventually just, it was expression of complete hopelessness. Even in the summer, wrapped up in their blankets. So people assumed that he was, like everybody else or many others, succumbing to despair and was wrapping himself in his blanket. So he was able to daven every day. And in his wrapped up talus, the guy's alive, should be alive, should be alive. Davening. They said later that he missed the Gulag days in this sense. His relationship with God was real. Life was real. Stripped of all of its posturing. So that's because his life is the rotzen of Nefesh Elikis. No prison can take that away. But the union remains the same. The union of rotzen is to be and express myself, be free, and therefore, just talking it through till the end. This is what drives the human endeavor: is will, the survival. Survival is the deepest desire of every living entity. It's in the DNA. Plants, living things, survival. The plant will just veer toward the sunlight. By the way, I think I mentioned this incredible recent discovery that plants communicate. Told you about it? And it's just an amazing thing. You got to go online and listen to it. They're able to translate this instrument, the sounds that they communicate with. Danger is coming, whatever. Plants. Like it says in Medrash and Perek Shira, they sing, they praise. It's all about survival. So for survival, you need billions of things. I mean, life is complicated. You need a lot of things we need. So the rotzen can express itself in very disparate things. Big things, small things. But the rotzen are the same takeoff. This is what I need to live. This is what I want. Even though in our own world, they're more significant one than the other, but the pure rotzen is I want everything. I want to express unlimited, every part of me, and every part of me catered for and addressed, so he can express his rotzen with the same takeoff and a big thing and a small thing. He's coming b'schalkus, but it's not really. It's one thing. I want to be free, express myself. I don't want to be contained. I want to exist. I don't want to be contained. The same rots. expressed in tremendous ischalkus. And the seichel will come. Is this more important or less important to the agenda? Yeah. So this is ready to forgo. This is not ready to. When the seichel kicks in and addresses, as the Rosh says, this labish and seichel. So there, obviously, something's more excited, less excited. They put for later, and that needs now. There's a tremendous hierarchy of significance and of precedence. The Rotzen itself, fill out. Free is free. Expressed is expressed. So the Rotzen comes in his chalkus, but it's emotional, but be'etzem it's the same Ein Sof, meaning it's the toikef of I am and I want to express myself. I want to be free, liberated. Okay, we somewhat clear now? Yeah. So let's conclude the ois. Let's conclude the ois. To understand clearer the difference between Chachma and Lotze. What is Chachma? What's the nature of intellect? The nature of intellect is to understand what is. The starting point is the other. There is, what is this? The faculty that questions, what is this? Trying to figure out life? Whatever it is you're trying to pay the Gemara, whatever it is you're figuring out. There is something, and you are understanding it. What's a Rotzen? What does a Rotzen start? It starts with a self. I exist and I want to express myself. Now, then you look at the world and say, what do I need to live? What do I need to express myself? I need a whole lot of things. That comes later. Rotzen is the netiyas hanefesh. Chachma is not netiyas hanefesh. Chachma is the subjective. Here is something. How does it work? What is it? And Chachma will kick in to help fulfill the Rotzen. You want to exist, you want to be free, you need this, you need that, and this is the order of significance. Work on this, work on that, go to school, go to work. Clear now?
How does this all come into the Mali and Seviv and the Schalkos of them?
You tell me. Seviv Kalalman produces Sviris and Ketz. So it's the expression of God's infinite ability to create endlessly. It's a statement about him. And since it's all an expression of his Rotzen, his infinite ability to create, one fundamentally is not more him than the other.
Like in the Rotzen example.
But the Rotzen is invested in different things, right? It'll produce different things. The Rotzen is the same. The Rotzen is okay. Let's get clear. Good, you're asking. The Moshe of the Rotzen. What drives this particular act?
Rotzen. If
there was no Rotzen, would he be doing it?
No.
No. So the act is fueled by the Rotzen. The other act, they act themselves very different, bigger and smaller. It's more significant, less significant. Yes. But the fuel be'etzem is the same. So in the Sefer Kalam, the Eibishter produces, as it were, because of the shleimus of his infinite ability, endless worlds, and they're higher and lower than all kinds of different. It's all Baruchnias. So the worlds are bischalkos. The worlds are externally. You look at this different. This Sviris and Ketz. But what fuels it all, in other words, to experience it objectively, what are you seeing here? What the experience is? The Rotzen Hashem and these endless ways of expression. Masha'enkin Mamalakal Almin, which is already structure in Mamalakal Almin, there is higher and lower. There's higher Chachma is greater than Bina. Why? Because in Malak Alam, Mitzat Seichel, some things are just more important than others. There's right, there's left, there's different properties. Inherently, Mitzat Seichel, inherently there's different designations. In Ratzon, there's no different designations. Ich will, this is Pashtus. So Malak Alam by divine design, because of the Tzimtzum already, because the Ratzon is eclipsed overtly, not eclipsed be'emes, but eclipsed in terms of its overt presence. What kicks in now is the system, like the person himself. He wants to live, yeah. So he wants all of these things. When you watch him thereafter go about his life, you can see that something's in again more, something again less. He spends more time here, less time there, because now he's filtering the rotzen in the confines of structure and seichel, and there's a whole priority and a whole seder to how life is going to go. I want to live and I want to express myself. There's a whole seder that's going to happen in its implementation. That's a Malak Alam. There's a higher, there's a lower, it's closer, there's further to the nefesh. Atzilus, Bria, Tirasiya, 10 spheres. More expressive view, less expressive view, in the sense of more expressive of you want something, and the Dir B'Tachtoinim, some things contribute more significant, some things less. The paradox is that the lower world contributes more. That's such an undercheshbon.
Then why do we use the example of Chachma? You could say Ratzin, they have that aspect of Mamali. Like we're saying, in every different prat that now he wants, and then there's some that's filtered and Seichel more significant, less, that's Mamali. But we're not using it, we're saying
no, because if we're going to speak Ratzin, it's an Inyan Atzmi. It's again, I am, I would express myself. Fundamentally, that it's not less present in any of these activities you do for your entire life. Not less bad. It's filtered overtly through intellect, which says, yeah, but to get there, we need to do this and do that, and all these steps. In other words, again, because Rotzen is the self and Chachma is the analysis of what is. So, mitzad the self is an indivisible I am. You're not made up of parts. You are at the core one nefesh, one human being. The world is a place of tremendous division. So, when your analysis of it, there's very different engagements, simple things, complex things. Yeah, Abislam. Okay, so let's read the last words of the Ois. Yeah, there is B'chinas Malak Al-Masev Kalam bin Sheb'chinas Malak Kalam bin Malak Kalam bin Eine Doim B'chinas Alikus Shebekelim. The B'chinas Alikus Shebayr. There's a real division here. Kelim contain and I reveal, higher, lower. Again, Shammai Hillel, it is Chalkus, and they hold the ground. Mashenke B'chinas Sevel Kalam bin. They're just using Shammai Hillel as an example. So in their own worlds, they're arguing. Yeah, Tzaddarotz and the alien. Tzaddarotz and alien, they're both equally valid. Eilu ve'eilu divlikim chayin. Tzaddarotz and alien. Not only is it now Hillel and Lasid Lavai Shammai, but by Tchias HaMeisim, it's both at the same time. Both at the same time. That's an expression of how Tzeviv Kalam in the Rotzen is Chalkos, but all one. Mashenke, yes, B'chinas Malak Kalam ein Adoim B'chinas Alikus. Yeah, Mashenke B'chinas Sev Kalam Yochel Liyas B'chinas Ein Sof Madrega tachtoina k'mei b'madrega al yonim mamish. Mitzat soivev, the spheres in cats, higher and lower. Olamas adin cats, higher and lower. They're all really b'madrega al yonim mamish. The Ein Sof property, the Ratzin in the higher one is the same as in the lower. Just tzarich a little bit. In the Lashon of the Maimon is, what does he say? Yochel is? It is. That's a whole new level of appreciation. Before he also said, in the Moshel, the Ratzin, Yochel is. Take if a Ratzin k'mei b'chachma in Asiya, like in understanding something. It's not a stereotype to what we're saying. I'm just pointing out the nuance. Maybe you think about it further. Okay, yeah, let's continue. So this will explain the contradiction. On the one hand, do not sit and weigh the mitzvahs of the Torah. The kal is v'chamor shneim shavit. So the light mitzvahs and the more heavier mitzvahs, which as evidence from their punishments, they're both equal. Because achiluk the kal is v'chamor is b'chinas hatam the chachma. The difference between the serious kal, light literally, and chomor, weighty, is only by chachma. The mitzvahs called Mushavit. The Rebbe says, he's not the marshal. He's not the marshal. Make it simple and clear. So the Melech asks one person to bring a glass of water, and he asks another person, he sends him on a mission to fight a great battle, for the expansion of the realm. So the din is to make even a gesture in presence of the king to somebody else, chayiv mis. So, meaning, and both didn't do it. Both didn't do it, and both, that's it. A capital offense. Again, compare, didn't mean to bring a glass of water. He didn't. The other guy didn't, something critical to the welfare of the state. He didn't do. So Mitzad the Ratzin answered, Mitzad the Ratzin, if a king or not a king. Ois Melech, Ois Metzias. Mitzad the Chachma, Seichel. How much damage was done to the realm and to the king by not bringing a glass of water? Negligible. The damage that is done by not fighting that battle is tremendous. So likewise, the punishments in Torah, a lighter punishment, cleansing, a deeper cleansing, is the damage we're doing to God's world. The measurable damage. The measurable damage, so some mitzvahs do a lot of damage, some do less damage. Some mitzvahs build great edifices, and some mitzvahs contribute, cultivate less. Mitzad the Ratzin, it's all the same. HaTsheker, the Shonah B'tzvaysa B'tzivan, was the same. That's the Ratzin. The same Teikef, even though it's expressed Lepeil in Chomor and Kal, as evidenced by Torah itself and the punishment. Slap on the wrist, Malchus, Koris, who knows, whenever it comes. No, nothing at all. Should have done it. He didn't. It's not even Malchus, not even a slap on the wrist. That's mitzad what? Mitzad the Chachma. Chachma means the measurable effect that it has on the world, on your nefesh, etc. The degree of the stain. But mitzad the nekudas rotzen, as the Rebbe said, there's no difference. And that's why also that we see this tremendous places great equal emphasis on minhagim and achonis to mitzvahs and the hersher the mitzvah and hersher the hersher. Because the rots and the alien, this is what the Eibishter wants. It's the difference. If it's a mitzvah, the step to the mitzvah, the step to the mitzvah, step to the mitzvah. You know what I'm saying?
Also, say that in Ramala.
That's what we're talking about. Does that? How would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, does that? I give him Moshel Shalosh Shudas. Building yeshiva. So some guy might say, me, I'm going to pay for the library this morning. He wants to invest in that which is going to be used for a mitzvah. Paying for the toilet, kitchen. Not interested. That's mitzad what? Mitzad seichel is not right. Where's the value? Of mitzad the rots and the alien. There's a yeshiva near a toilet. Pay for the toilet with the same enthusiasm. Whatever you need. The toilet, the $12 to pay for the library. Sorry. The kitchen. B'shove. The same chayas. Because that's Misad the Ratzanel. I've finished the sentence here. The difference between the light and heavy is mitzat tam v'chachma. How much does this contribute to the din b'tachtonim? This is bigger, this is smaller. This is negotiable, this is not negotiable. What's building a house? There's some things, components of the house that are critical. You without this, you don't have a house. You're exposed to the elements, to the winds, and you have no home. And other things they enhance, but they're not critical. They're more. It's a whole hierarchy of significance. I mean, the rots and elegant every prat is other Rabbi. Whole pelle is the dafka in the pratim. It's the rots is more expressed in the peripherals. Av mitzad etzim barotzen, the mitzvahs kulam shavim mitzad etzim barotzen are all equal. I say, will the Eibishter. This is him. So v'zeh shechukas haPesach v'chukas haPorah shteim doim. So on the one hand, they're both equal. They're both called zois chukas haTorah, korban Pesach and korban and the Porah Admo. V'pnei shemen mitzvahs v'chlal v'chukim befrat. In general mitzvahs, but where is it laid bare? In the chukim. That's pure rotzen. So that's why the starting point is they're both chukim. But then the Medrash says we don't know which one is greater. So he's saying there is a chalkus. Yeah. It can be asked, and the Medrash does ask, and it's negeya. Which one is greater, bigger, smaller? Even in Soivav, where be'etzim it's all equal to Rotzen, still the Rotzen is expressed in different things. Yeshem kama madreges. There's levels. Vadas vidas in cats. Endless levels. Yeah, it was somewhat clear. We're getting to our.
Then the question is, why can't that be Mamali? At that level, there's this ischalkus? Why is it a different ischalkus? That's
because again in Mamale it's HaTorah nicht on the shava component. In Mamale it's only higher, smaller, better, worse, closer, further.
From one perspective here, there's also not. From one angle of this ischalkus, it's also not. That's what we're saying. That's what the conclusion seems.
First of all, not so. Because in the Ischalkus itself says, I'm no greater than the other one. Doesn't claim title to greatness further. This is the Rotz and the Alien. It doesn't. The person's enthusiasm, when he does the Hechsher mitzvah or the mitzvah itself, is the same.
What's in the end, this, Ezechuk Abdel Mizu?
Because fart so that's the tension. In fart, this is a hechsher, this is the mitzvah, this is bigger, this is smaller. So there is that pasha begashmis, but there's not that begashmis. This is all ruchni. This took more time, took less time. It's in mitzias. In Indian. So that's the Ischalkus part. So there is shaykh to say, ask the question, in the Rotz and the Elyon, where is the Rotz and the Elyon invested in something, you're right, which mitzad mamalak alalmin, you have to bring it, well then can say this is greater. From the perspective of Ischalkos, will say this is a bigger piece, this is a smaller piece. But it's more subtle. It is a bigger piece and smaller piece. It's objectively so. It's objectively a bigger piece. It took more time in India, less time. That reality remains in the Ratzon, the world of Ratzon. The Ischalkos is there in the world of Ratzon. It is there. But it's not an Ischalkos that be'etzem. It's Ischalkos because the Ratzon says this, now the Ratzon says that, this is that. It's all the same Ratzon. What you're struggling with, that we are all struggling with, is that the concept of Ischalkos is fundamentally Mamalak Alam in Indian. So we're stretching, we're appreciating here, again, that in mitzvahs, I gave you the marshal of mitzvahs, there's kalas and chamodas, some mitzvahs. And the Rotzen will say, this is kal and this is chomer. Maybe this will help. The Rotzen says, not just Seichel says later, the Rotzen says, this is kal and this is chomer. But the Rotzen's the same. I want kal, I want chomer. That's the equality. Maybe that's the part we have just received the main. Not just Seichel says later, this is kal and chomer. Rotzen says it's kal and chomer. But I want kal, I want chomer. Equally. Maybe that, huh? Okay, good. We have to ask and ask till we finally get some clarity. Okay, yeah, we'll continue Beit Hashem tomorrow. You see this especially in a house, the balabasta. She wants a dafka here, but yeah, but it could be here. I could do it. I just want it this way. The net outcome could be the same even through another way, but it has to be like this. It's just this way. Here, not there.
I'm just struggling to understand when in the end of the day, this Ischalkos is. It just, it seems like that's what Mimam is. That's Ischalkos.
In that sense, you're right. Ischalkos is Ischalkos. I'm not saying it's not. Gvul is Gvul, but what is Gvul?
I'm saying like by the chayk, that's where you got confused. Then I'm saying it's all the same, and then like hooking, that's it.
Gvul is Gvul. Gvul is Gvul. The h'tshek is what is Gvul. What is Gvul? In its own world, Gvul is bigger, smaller. Mitzad the Rotz and the Elyon, it's I want big and small. That's a very big difference. I want big and small. I'm not saying there's no Ischalkos. But what is the truth of Ischalkos Mitzad the Rotz and the Elyon? Not the. And what's the mind of Ischalkos? What is the Ischalkos? It's the Rotz only. So therefore, on one level, one is not more significant, another one that is. The Rotz is the one that is small. Thank you very much. Share. Oh, thank you.